We are here with Derik Mooberry, who heads Zitro, which is a games company based out of, is it Brazil?
Barcelona, Spain.
Barcelona, Spain.
Barcelona, Spain, yeah.
And it's been around a while, but it's really only been the past 2 or 3 years, at least in my observation, that they've heightened their visibility here in North America. So Derik, welcome.
Thank you, I appreciate it, great to be here.
And tell us the Zitro story.
Yeah, we're kind of still new to a lot of folks, as you point out, and the company started in 2007. So when you consider some of the history of many of the others that are in the gaming industry that have been doing this for 60, 70 years, we're still pretty young, from that standpoint. And even in the US, we're still trying to build a little bit of a name for ourselves, getting our identity out, finding, getting products into the marketplace. But we're an established company. The company started and its roots were in video bingo. And where we really made a name for ourselves is in some of the Latin American markets. And about 5, 6 years ago, we started to transition from video bingo into traditional Class 3 slots. And that happened as a result of really a transformation that was going on in some of those markets. We saw video bingo, kind of stagnant, and some of the Class 3 manufacturers were coming into those markets. We saw the consumer really enjoyed the Class 3 games and the experience that they provided. And so in 2017, we started making Class 3 games. And we started putting those out into the Latin markets. And a few years back, we kind of had the vision that we should really start making a name for ourselves in the United States as well, and pushing into other global markets around the world. And so, today we're not the video bingo company that people may think we were of past. We're a global Class 3 slot machine company that's doing land-based products as well as digital products.
Now, as a small company, are you a niche filler, or do you intend to grow into a mainstream multi-product provider?
Yeah, our vision is to be really a global provider. Like I said, we started in video bingo. We now do Class 3 slots. We have a digital offering. In the next year or two, you'll start to see us in Class 2 bingo slots, and then eventually into more of the specialty markets, routes, bars, and other products. And it's really been started in the Latin markets, a very large base, obviously our home base in Spain, where we do very well. We're broadening into the rest of the EMEA. We're starting to get products into Asia as well. And so really our vision is to be a global supplier. And as you mentioned, are we maybe a niche provider now? We're certainly smaller, when you look at the big giants of the industry. But our vision is to be global. And while we might be a little smaller today, we do have over 1,000 employees around the world, with over 400 people working on R&D alone, and growing dramatically.
There's a lot of competition out there. A lot of competition, including from multi-billion-dollar competitors who have probably bigger research budgets, R&D budgets than your entire budget. So you need to have some sort of a special feel or some sort of special product. What's this competitive advantage that you have when you walk into to place a machine with a casino?
It's a great question, and it is extremely competitive. Casino operators today have more choices for products probably than they ever have, and the giants of the industry spend an enormous amount of money on research and development, and there's a lot of great products out there. I mean, if I was a casino operator, I would be ecstatic because you have a lot of great choices. But I also find that casino operators want choice. And there's certainly the big 3 operators out there, but people want to see others like us succeed. And I would say that there's a large number of casino operators that are kind of cheering for the smaller vendors to create a unique offering, find a unique niche that gives them some opportunity to buy from folks like us. And so we try and create games and entertainment that keeps their players excited and keeps players coming back to their casinos.
Yeah, there's some irony in that when the big round of mergers occurred here, oh geez, a half dozen years, decade ago even now.
Yep.
The fear was that there would not be a choice, and instead what's happened is we've had this proliferation of smaller and newer players come in, many of whom bring a lot of individuality and innovation to the space.
Yeah, no doubt, and really that's the part we're looking to fill. We think we can be that provider, and we have demonstrated success, and that's part of our story as we enter markets like the United States, where we're still a new player obtaining licenses, but we can point to the fact that we've got demonstrated success in other markets. You take the market of Mexico as an example, where we're the leading provider. We're bigger than Light & Wonder, we're bigger than IGT, we're the largest supplier in that market. Many of the Latin America markets were maybe number 1, 2, or 3. And so we're trying to leverage that success and bring that into new markets around the world, including the United States.
Two of the most popular words that I hear say over the past year or so are Latin and America. Tell us about the potential of Latin America.
Well, that's our roots. That's really a home base for us, and we do extremely well down there. Our products are extremely well received by the players down there. We spend a lot of time doing research and development to cater products to that particular market. And I think a lot of folks tend to focus, and when they think of gaming, they only think of the United States, but there's a tremendous amount of potential in other markets around the world, including Latin America, and we've been very fortunate to capture a very large share of that.
Right, and as you said, a lot of your history, it is Latin America, so if Brazil and some of these people fulfill the potential that is seen for them, I should think that's an opportunity.
It's a great opportunity, and you mentioned arguably what might be the next greatest gaming market in Brazil, and our owner is from Brazil, Johnny
Right.
Ortiz, and he has high expectations that at some point we will see legalized gaming come back to the country of Brazil, and the potential there is enormous.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, and it's a little bit of a side issue, but it's interesting to me to see how among the policymakers and the legislators throughout the United States and maybe throughout the world, that a lot of the mindset has changed. Rather than should we legalize gaming, it's now, should we regulate and tax it because it's going to be there, it's there, and it's going to be there anyway.
I think you've seen that. We've seen that here for years in the United States too. That governments, states, and now countries abroad, see a tremendous opportunity to raise additional funds through taxation. And it's better to have legalized gaming, right, that's regulated, licensed, with people that have gone through background checks and so forth. That's a better image for this industry and for the countries that want to put gaming in, obviously. Yeah.
One other question, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the products people will see here at the show. You mentioned your owner, Mr. Ortiz.
Yes.
Part of the proliferation of gaming suppliers has been a belief that once the M&A markets loosen up, there's going to be a lot of consolidation. Is Zitro at some point a consolidation candidate?
I think our ambition right now is to be a global supplier, and we think we can do that on our own. But we have to explore all opportunities, obviously, that come in front of us, whether that be us acquiring companies or people looking at us. But our vision, as I stated, is to be a global supplier. We want to do that through means of getting our products into all the key markets. It was the reason I came on board a couple years ago, was really with the sole focus of growing our United States business, because I don't think you can truly be viewed as a global supplier unless you've conquered the U.S. And we weren't in the U.S. at that time. We had no machines, no presence, but we've had tremendous growth. Just in the last year here in the United States. I think when I sat here last year with you, we were probably in 3 states and roughly 20 casinos, and as of today, we're in 13 states now and over 70 casinos with our products in them. And so we've seen this tremendous amount of growth, which I think speaks to the earlier question of, do operators have an appetite to welcome in, new vendors like us? And we've seen, casino operators come to us with open arms.
Great. Okay, let's talk about some of those products. What are folks going to see here at G2E that you think they should see?
Yeah, G2E is the most amazing event of the year, obviously, for us in this industry. And I couldn't be more excited about the lineup. And I think this is really kind of a transformation year for us. I think people that have visited the Zitro booth in the past, when they visit the booth this year, are going to see a new Zitro. And I think they're going to see products and games that have, in some cases, a little bit more of an American flair to them. I think when you maybe have come to the booth in the past, you looked at the products, looked at the cabinetry, looked at the offering and said, well, they're a foreign supplier. And I don't think you're necessarily going to look and see that anymore. We got 4 distinct cabinets that you'll see. 3 that are for sale, 1's a premium offering. But the game content is, I think, going to be the thing that really highlights and showcases well for us this year. The games are using a lot of play mechanics and a lot of the styles that I think play well in the United States. And so when I think consumers come in or the casino operators come in, I think they're going to be really pleasantly surprised at the offering.
Okay, great. Anything else you would like folks to know about Zitro, Derik?
Well, we're super excited. We've got a lot of growth plans. As I mentioned, we're expanding up throughout the United States. We're growing the R&D space. We just recently opened up an India Development Center too to kind of assist with some of those growth efforts. And so we think the future is just extremely bright for us here and couldn't be more excited to be here at G2E.
Great. Is India one of those growth markets?
India is one of the growth markets for us from a resource perspective, but not a market for us in terms of putting products.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But there's some thinking they might be a huge
maybe in the
new
future
market.
we may see that.
Yeah. And you're online, I bet.
And our digital presence as well, obviously. Yeah, we have a digital presence that's emerging and growing. We're not in any of the digital markets in the United States yet, but we are in Europe, and that is certainly going to be a key growth strategy for us in the future.
Okay, well, Derik, thanks very much.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, Frank. It's a real pleasure.
Okay.